What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Sheet should be joining me in just a bit. Hope everybody's doing well. I am just finishing up some lineups. We're going to probably take this one through. We're going to talk some basketball after some baseball. We'll talk some DraftKings first, then we'll get to some FanDuel. I do want to remind everybody, if you haven't already liked and subscribed, please like and subscribe. We always appreciate that. I also want to say, I know I have to start off with this every time. Check out all the stuff we've added. Jake's got his top pitching arms every day. That's Jake. That's Rody for all those guys who don't remember that one. We all call him Rody so much, so sometimes we forget. But we got Rody with his pitching top plays, his top stacks. He's written it into like a nice article form, like where you can sort of, take a lot from what he's written. I post my early lineup builds, my core plays, my bets of the day, which have been really, really good, especially for NBA. And I have my builds up for both my baseball and my basketball for DraftKings and FanDuel, as well as my 5 and 5 videos, which is just sort of another thing just to give you like a quick sum up of what I'm doing on the slate. What's up to my man, Nick Nelson? Good to see you in chat. NBA, of course, he's going to come out and say, right, buddy, we got plenty of time, though. That's the cool thing. We got 90 minutes before NBA, so we have plenty of time. I'm curious we actually have some NBA stuff, more than we usually do in the postseason because of some of the injuries. One thing I've got to say about the NBA, they got to stop with these 82-game seasons. Just absolute nonsense. It's to the kind of injuries that happen to these guys over and over again in the postseason. We want to see the best play the best. It's really a shame what happened to Booker. I'm not a Suns person. I'm not I like Booker fine because he's a Kobe guy. So, of course, I like him. But just really sucks, and then we have to see, are the Raptors gonna mix up their starting lineup? Is Scotty Barnes going to start, or is he going to come off the bench like he did in the last game because it was their only win? We'll see, and it's gonna make things kind of interesting. You could end up seeing no ownership for good reason on Malachi Flynn, or if there's some reason they decide to start him, you might see a ton of ownership on Malachi Flynn. I don't know whether he'll play 5 minutes or whether he'll play 30 minutes. It's a very strange situation, but my guess is Barnes gets the bulk of the minutes. Anyway, we'll figure out all that stuff as it comes up. But I just wanted to point out we do have some starting lineup stuff that could become an issue. And with that said, here comes Sheets, and we can talk some baseball. Sheets, what's up, man?
What's going on?
Just a few people in chat so far, and we're just talking a little bit about the NBA stuff a little later. We got the baseball lineups out. They came out a little differently as you'd expect on a Monday, but the weird part is that they came out differently, but it's going to make, I think, for pretty heavy chalk on some of the Astros. I think you're going to be able to get guys like Alvarez and Gurriel and I guess and Pena will be low owned. I think everybody else in that lineup is going to be pretty high owned. Maybe Bregman isn't crazy high owned, and I think the Dodgers are going to be really popular, but I'm not showing Muncy with a ton of ownership. I'm not showing Will Smith with a ton of ownership. I'm not showing Bellinger with a ton of ownership, Taylor or Lux. And I am more than happy to stack the Dodgers every which way. They are the number one stack in the slate for me. So that was just going to get into that stuff basically and talk about that.
We don't have a Boston lineup out, right?
As of right now, yeah, we do.
We do.
Boston it's
it's not in the DraftKings app. That's the only reason I mentioned.
Sorry, JD's in the lineup.
What about is Vasquez catching?
No.
Oh, great! I got to redo all my lineups and my projections probably. Okay.
Oh, so you're gonna try and pick on my guy Berrios today, huh?
No, I'm just looking at guys that I have in my lineups that haven't been assigned a starting role one way or the other, and I see all these Boston guys that that. So now I have to redo everything. Okay.
I'm pretty sure you got an easy switch from Vasquez if you want to Plawecki.
I can redo everything. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I don't think like either one of them is much. I mean, obviously Vasquez is a better hitter, but I don't think it's like a huge.
Yeah, I don't have any Houston. I decided not to do that.
So I'm comboing with Houston, but because I love Alvarez, I think Alvarez gets to be the low owned one, but I'm not necessarily fully stacking him. So I kind of hear you. Or
you gotta hang on a second.
I can't. I'll just keep doing the show because can you mute? Can you
mute? Hey, what's up? I'm busy. What's going on?
Okay. Where is Mark? Mark, where are you, buddy? When this is happening, it always cracks me up. All right. So anyway, I am stacking the Dodgers. I don't care. There's enough ways to do it. I think to get a little bit off the chalk. Like I said, the guys who I think will be the ways to do it. And I just see them as significantly they're a better team in a better spot. The team that's not going to get the love that I think is really interesting is the Blue Jays. I think you might see some ownership on Kirk because of his price at catcher. think you're going to see some ownership on Bichette, but outside of that, I don't see people playing these guys a bunch. And I don't necessarily want to stack against Eovaldi, but getting a nice little 2 to 3, 4 man, maybe even. I could see doing that against a little bit of Eovaldi. Sheet, sorry about that. So what are you doing today?
Now I have no idea. I have to redo everything.
Because
you know what I'm getting? I'm getting a bunch of Texas. Okay. This is in my MME. I'm not really playing Houston. I'm playing some Philly. I'm playing some Mets. I'm playing a bunch of Dodgers. And I guess those are the high owned ones. Texas, Mets, Dodgers, and Philly. Those are my top 4 as far right now.
Hey, like they say, somebody's got to win. So it's going to be one of us because we're on very different pages. I actually think Valdez is like the best, is an incredible pivot at pitcher. So I'm more on that side of it than I would be on the Texas side personally. I don't, Valdez doesn't give up any power. Houston's got a great bullpen. So I'm not getting to Texas, but I certainly don't mind them because of the low ownership. I think it's a good, interesting way to get different tonight. I also think that like at Bueller's ownership, I think we got to start considering this. I might even make him my SP1 on FanDuel. He owns this team in general. I think we're overreacting a little bit to a very small sample size this year in what's been in tough matchups. I mean, he had to pitch at Colorado, against Atlanta, and then against Cincinnati, who's sort of like a borderline in between team, but doesn't really strike out. So we haven't really gotten to see Buehler take on a really bad lineup. And this is a really bad lineup that Arizona's putting out there. So wanted to throw that out there as well. But as we stand right now, I am siding with the chalkier pitchers. I am playing Scherzer with Burns quite a bit. I'm playing some some of Bieber with Burns. And I am playing a lot of the 2 cheapies together with Berrios and Gibson. I actually think their upside is plenty enough reason for me to skip past the top guys, especially if I want to stack the Dodgers. And I don't mind that they're a little chalky and that they have some downside. I actually don't mind Berrios against this Boston lineup. Like Berrios' struggles in the past have been into lefties, and there really just is like one in the Boston lineup, or I guess there's 2 that actually scare me. Jackie Bradley doesn't scare me. Actually, there's only 1 in the lineup. No, 2. Sorry, Verdugo and Devers would be the 2 that scare me. Everybody else, I feel like it's a good matchup for Berrios. So I'm going to be playing some of the Berrios cheapness. And honestly, I think on other slates, if we've seen Berrios at this price in the past, I think he'd be like 60, 70% owned, maybe higher. We've never seen him in this price range. We've paid $10K for him as a pivot off of these guys who were like in the same price range. And now,
you know what? We sure have.
Yeah. Now we're getting him at literally almost half the price.
That's 100% true.
So, and for what it's worth, I did some BVP studying today and stuff like that. Cause I just, I like to look at it more from a pitching angle. He's had a pretty long history against this team. 27% strikeout rate, over 111 plate appearances, low walk rate, 8 walks in 111. They're hitting 239 off of them with very little power. So I'm very open to this. I just have talked myself into the Berrios thing, and I just think Kyle Gibson has enough upside to play against this Colorado team. I don't love playing when they play each other back to back. I feel like that's a good argument to win. Usually it goes the opposite direction of how it went the first time, and he had a good outing last time against this Boston team. So I'm always worried about that a little bit. Do I think Rios is going to go play for the Dodgers is a question that's popping up. It's really impossible to know. The Dodgers have, they're loaded. There's no, I don't think there's going to be a general, unless he's going through like a tear or something like that. Will they give Freddie Freeman the day off? Maybe. There's really no way to know until the lineups come out, to be honest with you. So I don't know how to rank to go with that one. But if he plays, I definitely will be playing him. I'll tell you that. That's the only thing I know.
So you think Mikolas is not somebody worth attacking? I'm still getting to these Mets here.
I think it's fine. I think they're good. I wouldn't play a full 5-man stack against him. And to me, it's like I don't like 5-man stacking against pitchers that don't walk anybody. So that's my issue with the Mets. But I also think Mikolas, I thought you were going to talk as an option. I mean, he's been really good. We've seen him go through really good stretches in the past. But I do understand the Mets thing. It's not exactly, of all the stadiums, that's definitely the worst hitting weather on the slate, from what I can tell. It's cold. It's cold in Philly too. It's 59 degrees, but the wind's blowing out 10 miles an hour to left field. You got some stadium, a lot of dome games tonight. You got the Angels playing in 80-degree weather with the wind blowing out. So I personally I'm totally good with the Mets. I just didn't end up getting to them much.
And by the way, just in the name of transparency, I gave you a heads up that I might end up being a sucker, not sucker, but throwing money away on this play earlier today, and I'm going to. I'm gonna, in the name of just doing something low owned and just because I just want to lose. I'm going to be playing probably way too much Dane Dunning.
Yeah, fair enough. You definitely are getting leverage against the field for that with that play. The problem is, like, even if he gets there,
there's plenty of problems.
like the only way I could play him is if I was going to play him with Berrios, because I mean, his whole career, I don't know if, I don't know. He's had like 3 games that equal Berrios's like median average.
Yeah, I know.
Career. So that's the only problem I have. That's why I would use him with Berrios potentially, but I don't know. That would feel a little thin. It's just there's a lot of good pitching on the slate. Even the Berrios Gibson thing that I'm doing feels a little thin because between Bieber, Burns, Scherzer, and Buehler, you certainly expect some 20 pluses in those guys. And Berrios and Gibson, while they both have the upside to get past that, they definitely have enough downside as well. And if you're not playing Gibson, by the way, I'm not that interested in Boston particularly, but if you're not going to play Gibson, I do think playing some Rockies would be a good way to go. They're going to be super low owned. Grichuk has been like the hottest man on the planet.
Yeah.
He's only 3.8. Yeah, I just think it's worth taking some shots with that. But I'm not, I say that as I'm not really doing it because I'm just not getting enough lineups, and I want to focus on getting the stacks that I like right. And I want to focus on getting the low owned parts of my stacks in everywhere. So I want exposure to every one of the Dodgers and every one of the Astros. We just don't know which Dodgers are playing yet because it's obviously too early, which could, by the way, Sheets could keep the longer it takes, the lower ownership you're going to get on them, because, the Dodgers are probably going to have 2 guys who they don't usually have in the lineup today. It could be Rios.
I like that Rios guy.
I love Rios, man. I'll bet that guy is the most effortless thing. If you I've watched him take batting practice and also in spring training, he hits the ball like 450 feet. Like it looks like he's just like trying to slap out and poke it. It's just crazy how much power that guy has. Philly stack on DK, mega chalk that I will completely avoid. Philly couldn't hit this guy in Colorado, and I am not going to be playing much Philly except for maybe some one-offs. I do think Real Muto is a really good one-off. I think that Castellanos is. I don't usually like to play expensive, chalky players though as one-offs. That's the only problem. But I like them all individually. Again, Freeland doesn't give up much damage. They just played this game in Colorado, and now we get it in Philly, and all of a sudden we're supposed to jump on it. If it happens, it happens. I think it's the wrong mentality to try to be stacking that game personally. Of course they could go off. Anything's possible, but I'm not into it at the high ownership that it is. If I'm going to play anybody high owned, it's going to be the Dodgers and Astros.
Yeah, maybe I should. Why am I screwed? Maybe I should just play the Dodgers. Just be done with it.
Well, you could, and it's cool because you don't even know who you're playing. That's what I'm looking forward to. Is like I'm just praying that lineup comes out, because if somehow it'll come out early enough, but if it doesn't come out after the Milwaukee game and I just hope it goes past the Philly game. I hope the Phillies lineup. I'm sorry. I hope when the Philly game starts, it comes out right after that or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then we can let people take that other chalk or get themselves into trouble with who the Dodgers are there. But like if they try to play a couple of Dodgers 1 or 2 man, 3 mans or whatever, you're going to be able to adjust a lot because it's the Phillies, Dodgers, and Astros are going to be the most popular on the slate. And I don't think anybody else is going to be close. Where do you stand with the Indians who we talked about earlier? Because I do find that, they've got Josh Naylor in there batting 5th now because at 2,500, the righty lefty thing. You've got Franmil Reyes, who's reasonable at 3.7, and then Jose Ramirez, who's basically the best player in baseball these days. He just always seems to put up
the best player in baseball every day. I mean,
isn't he? I feel like, and the thing is, it's crazy, Sheets. The thing about him that was so great before is that he would literally run every time he got on base. He got caught all the time. Like not great for a real life baseball player, but it's great for DFS. But he has not stolen a base this season. And it's partly because he's hitting home runs and doubles and they're up by 10 runs all the time. So I can't really I don't know whether he's going to stop running, if that's part of their plan to try and, keep him fresh and healthy or whatever. But it is weird to see him without having run much. But then I look at the scores and it's like 17-1, 10-0. You can't really run in those games.
Yeah, maybe this is better. Just playing a bunch of Dodgers. I can get a good build with a bunch of Dodgers stacks too. I could do that.
Yeah.
And like you said, I don't even know who I'm playing yet. Even better.
Yeah. And Hingo just popped in with exactly my thoughts. The Dodgers should, if their lineup doesn't come out for another hour, then they should be lower owned than, because you have Milwaukee who will get some love and you have Philly who will get some love. Philly will get a lot of love, actually. So if you can eliminate those, and then once you get past those teams, you have the Dodgers and Houston, and yeah, they'll still be popular. Don't get me wrong, but you can always play the bottom of the order with the Dodgers. They don't let bad hitters hit. They don't have any bad hitters. Like, they just don't. The worst hitter they have is probably Austin Barnes, and I would probably play Austin Barnes if he plays today. So that's the way I would treat that one. I'm just making sure here. I do want to put a little cautionary thing up here. Something about the Burns thing feels, it's just, the more I think about it, like Burns over Scherzer, I mean, like any other time, or over Bieber, we usually would have gone the other way. And am I missing? Like, I just feel like people are so far off of Bieber, and I just don't know that it's entirely deserved. I know he's coming back from the injury. I know that they're going to be a little careful. So yeah, that knocks him down a little bit below the other guys, but for the difference in ownership, and not to mention, he had the best strikeout 2 years ago. He had the best strikeout per nine of anybody, and he threw 86 pitches his last outing. I don't know. It just feels like a spot where he could be right there with those guys, and he's going to end up like 10% or 8% owned on DraftKings, and the other guys.
So in the end, so you do think he's going to be low owned?
I don't think people are going to play Bieber much, and I think even less so people are going to play Buehler. And the weirdest part is Buehler has the best matchup of every pitcher, and he's also, take away his last two starts, but go out the last 3 years, or take away all of his starts this season. But again, Atlanta once, at Colorado, and just the strikeouts were down a little bit. That's it. The hits are up a little bit. He is the most consistent pitcher. If you took all these guys on a larger sample size, if you took the last couple years, he's definitely the most consistent. So for him to be unowned, I'm gonna take my normal stack and then put the Bieber and Buehler lineup together, and maybe skip the other guys. That's definitely going to happen for me.
What are you doing on the FanDuel?
Kelly will shut LA down. Get out of here. Merrill Kelly.
He might.
He's never done it before, but he might do it this time. Sure.
I've heard he's become a good real life pitcher. Is that not?
Everybody loves their little 3-game sample size narratives. You think it matters if Nolan Ryan at his peak or Sandy Koufax came in to pitch against this Dodger team? I don't think it matters that much. It only matters if it's Max Fried or Blake Snell. Those are the two guys that we can't seem to hit.
That's true.
Everybody else the team hits, they are loaded. You have a freaking all-star team out there. I have no interest in buying into any of the Merrill Kelly. If it happens to work, great.
Who's your top owned pitcher on FanDuel?
On right now, because I want to get different and I like my stacks, I'm throwing Buehler and Bieber out there.
Yeah,
the right answer should be Scherzer. But I'll take a little gamble here and take the guy in the best matchup in Buehler's case. But I mean, Scherzer is the best option, I think. But again, like, you look at who you're facing. I mean, the St. Louis lineup scares me a lot more than the Diamondbacks lineup does.
The St. Louis lineup scares you more than, yeah.
I mean, it is at least he gets to face the righties mostly. That's good for Scherzer. And by the way, again, where you're not playing Scherzer, you should be looking at all of these guys as excellent one-off plays. Scherzer is
the home run stuff.
Yeah, he averages more than, like, what did he average last year? Like 1.4 per game, but he'd only average giving up like 3.5 hits per game. It's really weird. He just gives up the home runs. He's willing to challenge everybody. Okay, let's see. The favorite FanDuel stacks. I know there are only 5 games over there, and they start in an hour, but I'll answer K9's question. There's no difference over there to me. You can get the better hitters in for Houston a little cheaper. I really don't see that as I don't see anything getting in the way of me doing the stacks I want. So I'm not going to change my stacks on these sites very often unless there's really a real difference in pricing. And just most of the time that just doesn't, even if there is, like I just find that the reason that I'd want to play them on both sites. But the Dodgers are my favorite stack everywhere. It doesn't matter where you play them. I actually like them better on FanDuel in some ways because Will Smith and Cody Bellinger will be really low owned on FanDuel, assuming that they're batting 7th and 6th, and Chris Taylor will be really low owned, where on DraftKings, they're just going to be kind of low owned. So I guess I like the Dodgers even better over there. I think Houston is easier to get any player you want, but I have everybody except for Castro in double digits for their ownership. I still think the Toronto get sneaky idea it won't be so sneaky on FanDuel. That's the problem. I like the idea on DraftKings because people won't pay these prices, but on FanDuel they will because only the 5 games. Again, I wouldn't go with the full stack of it, but I do like getting some Mets, like she said earlier. I don't need to pick on Mikolas and in terms of a full stack, but I don't mind if playing a Pete Alonso and Starling Marte or something like that, spending up for those guys using the cheap Houston bats or something like that. You could get really different with your stack doing that. The Indians are big time in play, but David, it's going to be 80 degrees when the game goes off. But yeah, it's warm out here, buddy. Like I'm looking at. I just came outside and it was drenched after that. Oh, Dodger lineup out. That's a bad sign for us. Well, they actually did it this time. They actually went with their projected lineup on a Monday, which they basically never do.
So is Lux in?
Yep.
Well, thank God.
Lux, Taylor, and Bellinger at the bottom. Those are the guys you want, in my opinion. I think you especially want Bellinger. But you can wrap all those guys around. These guys can all hit.
Wait, so JD Martinez is in, you said?
Yep.
Okay.
By the way, if you're not playing Barrios, I would say Devers is a great one-off, but I think he's going to end up being crazy popular.
I've got a full healthy 25% Bueller on DraftKings.
I love it, Sheets. I think it's a really, really good play. And by the way, I like the other one too. I'm going to throw in the Bueller and Scherzer, and I'm going to throw in the Bueller and Bieber, and I'm going to throw in one of the Bueller and Framber Valdez.
I am well under on Mr. Bieber and Mr. Burns on DraftKings.
I like it.
I'm probably I think Scherzer's going to be really popular there.
Yeah.
I'm with the field. I have like 55% of him.
Yeah. I mean, he's in general, that I've said this forever since we started talking about DFS, that he's always my favorite guy to play because he wants to kill. He looks at the manager like he's going to kill him when they try and take him out.
And hey, like in my screen name, Mad Max.
There you go. Yeah. I actually think in the 250, I'm going to play the Valdez and Bueller combo. That's a little something we can do to get creative. I like that a lot, actually.
Do you have any I guess you alluded to this earlier. It depends how many lineups you're playing. Like, do you have any San Francisco's just for fun and just some St. Louis's just for fun, like you were talking about?
I think the St. Louis one-offs are more viable than San Francisco because Scherzer will give up a lot of home runs, like in general. So I would rather take the shot against the guy who's maybe going to give up more home runs. But I couldn't really get to the San Francisco side of it, although it does. I'm a little worried about it, to be honest with you. It does worry. Like the more I think about the matchup, I don't think it's as much of an automatic. Oh, Burns is going to have the best game. I don't know. It just doesn't feel quite as secure to me.
Hey, San Francisco's not bad.
No, we know that they're and especially like in general, they also have like really good hitting coaches. Like they're really well disciplined. They give you a lot of reasons why you don't feel great when you play them. Jordan Alvarez, Tucker. All right, sorry, I've got to build on air, so I'll jump back to the questions in a minute, guys. But I've got to build on air today because we don't have the time. Oh, interesting. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Plenty of time. You kidding?
There's plenty of time, but I got to get the stacks the way I want them here.
Yeah.
Make sure I get exposure to all these guys. All right, guys, what else we got in here? Yeah, Palacios. What is he batting? Ninth? Let me see. Yeah, he's batting ninth. No interest for me. I don't need. If I want to play a 9-hitter, I can play a guy who's, I guess it's fine. But I would. You better be playing the stack. If you're not playing a one-off 9-hole hitter, I just don't think that's ever optimal.
You know what? You'd be happy to know that I went a different route as I locked this in on DraftKings, and I have over 30 lineups, 75% LA Dodgers.
Yeah, I like it.
Let's go.
You could say I am a Dodger fan, but I don't think there's any baseball analyst, and I don't think there's one analyst in all of baseball. I really don't think there's one that would tell you the Dodgers aren't the best team in baseball. Look at the number. Look at the odds. They literally have 2.5 times the odds of anybody else to win the World Series. Like, it's a ridiculous star-studded team. The guy batting eighth was an all-star last year. You know what I mean? Like, we have guys on the bench who would hit 25 home runs for other teams. Gavin Lux is a 300 hitter if they ever let him just play every day and bat somewhere earlier in the order. This is not about a bias towards the Dodgers. I was the one screaming, "Don't play the Dodgers" when they were facing Fried last week. Let's see what else we got in here. Am I playing Turner at short mostly? Yeah, so I am playing some Pena in my Houston stacks because no one's going to play him batting ninth, and I love the talent on the kid. So I will play him as my 9-hole hitter. I'm sorry, I will play him in my 5-man Astro stacks, but I don't think I would do it unless I was in the 5-man Astro stack. And then I'm playing Turner. Turner is my primary shortstop on DraftKings. On FanDuel, I am going back and forth, but it's probably going to end up being Turner on FanDuel as well. Bichette would be the next guy for me, and I don't think that you're getting that much of an ownership discount to play Bichette over him. So, but I do like Bichette as well. So I said, "What's up to Joanne?" That was Adam's question. Let's see. John saying this. Wait. John, do me a favor. Write a DM to MSL and myself, and just say what's going on, because we haven't run into any issues. I don't know what's going on there. Send me a DM, John, and send me specifically what the problem is, because there shouldn't be any problem here. I'll make sure to have it reinstated. But if you send it to MSL directly in our thing, he'll have you reinstated like before you know it. So sorry about that. I don't know really what's going on with that. Dodgers won't beat Scherzer and DeGrom in the playoffs. Hey, guys, look, maybe not. The playoffs are an absolute crapshoot. Anybody who thinks that baseball actually measures the best team, realize the team with the 14th best record in the league won the World Series last year without their best player. So it doesn't really have anything to do with anything. It's a total crapshoot. The best team almost never wins in baseball, and just remember that.
Who won the World Series last year?
The Braves.
They did, didn't they?
With all 83 of their wins, all 500 of their baseball team, and without their best player. And Eddie Rosario is not going to hit 526. He hit 526 against the Dodgers last year.
You know what's great? I don't have to worry about watching from being up any money in baseball for like hours.
Yeah, it's true. It's just like every other day, Sheets.
Yeah, exactly. Except this, I might actually have some innings remaining.
Yeah, you hope at least. You don't need to worry about being dead right off the bat like me. No, I hear you, Slick, but don't worry about the Dodgers as a team. I mean, look, me and Sheets talk about it. Teams coming off of 10-run games. There is no actual statistical evidence about it anymore. I'm telling you right now, Cleveland scored 10, 11, then 17 on back-to-back days. It just doesn't we can't look at it like that. But also the thing is, I always tell everybody this. Baseball and DFS is not about just scoring the most runs. It's about having the guys how do you score the runs most effectively. Those are with stolen bases and with power. Simple as that. And that's why you're always going to want to play the teams with the most power and speed combination upside. And that's what the Dodgers are. Oh, get out of here, BBF. The Dodgers did. Yeah, you know what? What happened with the Lakers' other 15 titles? Were those all in a bubble? I forgot. How about the Dodgers' other 6 titles? Were they all in a bubble? I don't know. I forgot. The absolute crapshoot that is the MLB playoffs has people actually totally misguided. I mean, the Braves during the 90s were a great example of this. The Braves should have won like 7, 8 titles from 91 to
in 96 when the Yankees won. The
Yep.
Braves, I don't know if people remember this. The Braves were up 2-0 after games 1 and 2 on the road.
Yep. With the greatest pitching staff of all time at the time.
Yep.
And
then the freaking total breakout of Andrew Jones coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, he had the big 2 home run game, that massive shot when he was 19.
That was the year where Rivera was the setup man.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why the trolling from BBF. Like, we usually is a pretty cool guy. I have no idea why to try and troll me about the Lakers right now. I'm not trolling anybody. I'm not insulting any other teams. No reason to troll me about the Lakers.
You know what, Bobby? Because it's for people who like teams that like win a lot. It's sometimes enjoyable to troll them. It just is.
I've never been one of those people.
No, because you always have you always have the team that's winning. You don't have to.
No. Look. I'm obviously a huge.
You can afford to be magnanimous. I mean, you got all these rings and these trophies and stuff. If you're from freaking someplace else that never wins anything, you become like it's a different lifestyle.
Yeah, but I'm sitting here rooting like crazy for the Celtics, which is crazy because
why would you do that?
Because I hate Kevin Durant specifically.
There it is.
Slick, go ahead and stack Arizona. If you took every game from Walker Buehler's career and you stacked against him every day,
you would not be in good shape.
So go ahead and give it a shot and donate away, because there is no way an Arizona stack is winning all the money tonight. I'm not saying they won't score any runs. I'm just saying that a full-on 5-man. I want to see a 5-man Arizona stack. All right, what else?
Well, that's funny. It's weird because the root against teams things. It's a weird dynamic because like you take Duke for example. Like I don't know what I'm going to do now that Coach K is retired. I and the funny is I rooted against Duke literally like every game that I didn't have money on them like for the last like 80 years, and I have no idea why. You know what I mean? Like it was like the greatest program of all time. They were completely clean. You know what I mean? There's literally no reason to root against them, and yet you know what it is? It's just those freaking fans. I just can't stand looking at them in that freaking camera indoor. I just can't do it.
Well, that's certainly fair enough.
Yeah. So I guess that's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up with so we had a friend, a close family friend who was the head of philosophy at Duke. So we ended up becoming like, and they were, of course, all the players' favorite class was this guy's class. So we grew up I grew up as a pseudo Duke fan before I understood what that even meant. I also had the same issue come up with when I was 6 years old, and my favorite when I first watched football, my only year of watching football, I watched college football because we didn't have any teams that we knew didn't leave us. So Troy Aikman, my favorite player, goes to the Cowboys, this lowly franchise to me. I'm a 6-year-old, and then I end up realizing like 6 years later, oh my God, I'm a Cowboy fan. Now everybody really hates me.
Yeah, they really do.
I had to drop out of there. But I also hate Jerry Jones, so I had another reason to get out of there.
Yeah. Troy Aikman, Troy Aikman was responsible for one of the great. He actually was in a bowl game. This is one of my greatest bets, whatever. I thought it was like a total luck. Like Troy Aikman had a great UCLA team, like as you know,
mm-hmm.
and they were a pretty big favorite over Florida, and with Emmitt Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And Emmitt's, and I took the points, and UCLA won, but did not cover in that bowl game.
Oh, interesting. I forgot about that. I knew they played. I forgot the result of the game.
UCLA won, but did not cover. Yep. It was not like a major bowl game, but it wasn't like a small one either. It was like one of the, like, not the Citrus Bowl, but it was one of those like December 30th type bowls. It was good. It was a good game.
Yeah.
They also, who's their wide receiver? They had a really good wide receiver on UCLA in that, shit, I forget who it was.
Oh, it was that. I think you might have got there because they had the great receiver after. Oh God, it's gonna drive me crazy. I'm not.
I remember that the quarterback for Florida was a guy with a mustache. I think Kerwin Bell, and then the quarterback for I remember it was Aikman. I thought they had a good wide receiver. Was it Hartley Dykes? No, he wasn't. I forget. I just forget.
Even though I watched that, and it was before I was in the phase of like knowing all the stuff. I can't remember all of it. You know what I mean? I can remember the Dodgers though, like from '88. Like I could tell you their whole roster.
Right.
No, dude, great, Slick. I hope that if everybody else is losing, I hope you win. I don't really care. It's a regular season game. I'm not going to sit here. It's not like if the Dodgers lose, I lose any sleep over it. They play 162 games. My family is crazy about it. That's true. They'll literally sit there and watch every inning and every minute, and I'm just like, guys, I don't know how you do this and still manage to have a life because there's 162 of these things a year. I can't do it.
It was the Aloha Bowl, Christmas Day, 1987.
Yeah, so that was when I was 6. Nope. That was the last one because he came out in the 88.
20, and that's correct. 20-16.
20-16.
There were 2 MVPs: Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith.
Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith. Oh wow, that's weird. I didn't know that. And then of course they go on to play on the greatest football team of all time together.
Could be.
It's hard to argue against them for the greatest team of all time. When you have your entire offensive line is in the Hall of Fame, your running back is in the Hall of Fame, your quarterback is in the Hall of Fame, your tight ends in the Hall of Fame, and your entire defense. I think they had 8 guys from that defense in the Hall of Fame. It's nuts. They don't make them like they used to.
Right. Hey, and they laughed when they traded whatchamacallit, Herschel Walker.
Oh yeah, I know. That was looking back, the greatest thing, the greatest move of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, that's what's going to happen with some of these teams. Like, not exactly the same type of thing. They didn't trade, but it's like the Golden State Warriors are going to be unbelievable for the next 30 years. There's almost no way it doesn't happen because all they have is these perfect guys to bridge these next gaps. They've got all these young guys who they don't even play right now, and then they find a Jordan Poole. They're just it's teams franchises that are run well that can really turn a corner by having. It's like what the Spurs did. The Spurs had the best record in the West. David Robinson gets hurt. They don't intentionally tank, but they couldn't win any games. Then Avery Johnson gets hurt too. And next thing you know, they draft Tim Duncan and they start a powerhouse.
I'm reading up on this, and then I remember why is it the perfect example of a team. Why I would bet a team like Florida, like UCLA, they were like supposed to be like the nuts that year. They were going to make the Rose Bowl, and they somehow lost to USC in the last game of the season.
Yeah.
And they were just had no interest in going to the freaking Aloha Bowl, where Florida was just so freaking pumped, and that was that's why Florida kept it close. Emmitt Smith was a freshman that year.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I knew they were obviously different age ranges because they were both the number 1 picks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Troy Aikman had transferred from Oklahoma. That is true.
That's right. And because oddly enough, the guy who eventually became their coach said that he couldn't run an offense in college.
Yeah, there you go.
Barry Switzer, who I hated. I was not a fan of Barry Switzer either. Okay, I'm just making.
So you're talking about the Lakers. I have actually a really kind of a fun fun fact from about LeBron. So I when I was really into the coaching, I spoke with now I forget his name. He coached Akron, and he was actually LeBron's high school coach. Now I forget his name because I suck. But anyway, do you know LeBron James is left-handed?
He's ambidextrous. He's not really left-handed. He writes left-handed.
Right.
Yeah, I've heard that one before. I've heard about it before, but something it feels like. I mean, I guess that's still pretty close. Like it's pretty incredible.
I'm the coach. Can I tell you?
No, I know. It's crazy. It is pretty wild. I'm not a LeBron person, but obviously it's hard not to be amazed. Christian Walker. Yeah, you guys go ahead and play. Anybody can go ahead and play the Diamondbacks. I will not be that guy.
Dambrot. That was Keith Dambrot. He's now coaches Duquesne. But yeah, he did a lot of good coaching videos and stuff like that. I like him.
Yeah. I want to point out that the Bueller, I don't know. I think it was something crazy. It was something like 40 games in a row that he had pitched at one point that the other team, including when he was out of the game, didn't score 4 runs. It's really hard to come up with a 5-man stack that makes a lot of logical sense, but you guys can go ahead and do it because you know how I feel. 72 Dolphins. Let's not get crazy because they happened to. Were they really better than the 07 Patriots?
Excuse me. The Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
In the Super Bowl were the underdog.
And that same year, right? That's right, against the Redskins.
So I don't want to hear it. Thank you.
Yep. And they barely won that game. It wasn't like they dominated that game. Let's see what else we have here. Let's look at any other questions. Where's my man Nick? He probably popped out here because we're talking about so much baseball, but I know this guy wants to know all about all the basketball stuff, and we can transition over to basketball sheets if you want to talk a little.
Dude, I'm good. I'm chilled tonight. We can talk about basketball.
Perfect. Let's do it then. Hold on one second.
I'd love to see ownership in like a minute on some of these on the Milwaukee people to see what's just for fun.
Yeah.
I imagine that Corbin Burns will be somewhat popular. But let's see. I don't know. You think he's over 30?
Corbin Burns?
Yeah, in the relay throw.
Yes.
Okay. If he's over 30, then maybe Scherzer's under 50.
Yeah, I would have thought that people would have played them about the same.
And then Bieber. It's going to be interesting.
I don't think people are playing Bieber.
Right, so let's see. Relay
throw. Well, on FanDuel because you have less options, but I don't think you're going to see it on.
It's still not official yet. Yeah, I'm definitely changing this one thing, and my one-off in my big buy-in right now is not a one-off I'm keeping. I just need to put something.
Tell us who it is then. Tell us who it is.
It was Christian Walker.
Oh, it was Christian Walker.
Yeah.
What is his price today?
3,000.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. You could take that.
It's fine, but I could probably do better than that.
Yeah, I think so too. He's been. I mean, he's been hitting the ball, but we say he's been hitting the ball. The guy's hitting 160. Like that's Arizona style hitting the ball. He's hit 2 home runs in the last 3 games, though. I'll give him that. It is really funny though when everybody's like, "Oh, he's been killing the ball this year." I'm like, "Oh, he's hitting 160." Like, pretty hard to be killing the ball and be hitting 160.
I'll tell you, I'm going to give you maybe not yet. I have a couple of names for you, but I'm going to give you a couple of names for my AAU crew this year to watch for in playing on DFS in 4 years or something like that. Wait,
oh, really?
Got a couple of guys who are okay. Maybe got 5 guys of the total group that'll end up playing D1. So we'll see. Got one guy who's already D1. He had a really good tournament until his team got bumped. Was Zed Key. He plays for Ohio State. Yeah, he's not bad. And the guy from Illinois, Kofi Cockburn. He's big. Let's see what we got here. Oh, still not in yet. Let's see.
Should be in by now.
There it is. Burns 41% in the relay throw.
Okay, it's about what you think, right?
I've seen a lot of players game not started, so I see. Oh, Milwaukee. Nobody's playing Milwaukee. That's not true. I'm looking at Colton Wong. He's hitting 9th. Yelich 6%. Renfro 11. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah, they're playing. Caratini's 11. Wow, that's a lot of ownership for a catcher, I think.
Well, I mixed up my main lineup a little bit to go less Houston on DraftKings, but DraftKings and Houston is going to be my main stack on FanDuel today.
Let's take a look at the as I did play the bigger one. Let me see what the ownership is over there.
Anything? Who you play so far?
Oh wow! First of all, Burns is 47% in the big one. I have Burns. I have Burns in the big one.
Yeah,
and that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, it didn't end up using.
That's all I got right now.
Let's see. In the 250, I've got him too. But I threw a couple of. I have a couple of Andrew McCutchen and Keston Hiura type of things.
Let me see if I got him in the 250.
10% McCutchen.
I do not have him in the 250 though.
I'm in the 250, and I have him in the 250. So there you go. You can win the 777, and I'll win the 250.
There you
go. All right. So we can talk a little bit about the NBA tonight, Sheets. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna run some crapola right now. And I'll let you know what I get when I script, and then we'll actually make the lineups.
Sounds good to me.
There's nobody out. There's nothing. Oh, the Barnes and the whatever the starting lineup for Toronto, right?
Yeah. The good thing is I pretty much have come to the terms that I'm playing Scotty Barnes no matter what. I'm just going to grab an updated projection for the NBA so I can not.
Yeah, mine are pretty tight, I think.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of plays for a slate that's a 3-gamer. A lot of like interesting low owned plays. I think Nicholas Claxton is one of them.
Yeah, I think you might have talked me into some of that.
I think he's one. Yeah, I think he's one of those guys. I think that who was the other ones I had? I'm just gonna take a quick look. I think that there's a little bit of an overreaction to Dwight Powell tonight. Now, it could work, but it seems a little fishy to be as owned as he's being projected. I feel that way a little. I like Mike Conley tonight, but like I feel like it's a little fishy that he's going to be 50 some odd % owned or something. I think that I'm not going to pay up for anybody.
You're gonna like this ownership. I might just keep this script just the way it is, considering what I'm getting. I'm getting 65% Jordan Clarkson. I thought you might like that.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's because if you look at the games, even just in these postseason, it's like one of Conley or Clarkson. So if Conley's going to be 50% owned and Clarkson's going to be 5% owned, and he's cheaper, it just doesn't really make that much sense that Conley would be rated that much ahead of him. The other one I can't figure out the projections why they're so high is Embiid.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting like 100 million% of him.
He's projected to score 60. I'm looking at 60 and 58 fantasy points.
Yeah, that's what I got, 60.
He hasn't scored more than 54 in a game, and that was an overtime game in which he had 39 in regulation. So he would have been under 47 in all games so far, and he's hurt.
Yeah.
He's playing hurt. Now, of course, could he get 60 here? Yeah, he could. But why are we going to assume that? Like, why is that his median average when we've had some opportunity to see it and he hasn't even come close?
I'm going to drill down a little more here. Hold on a second.
The spend up who makes the most sense to me by far is Luka. I do think Embiid is fine, but I kind of like the Harden and Siakam idea. And I think I'm going to end up with like 4 Raptors.
Where'd that spread go, by the way, the Toronto game?
7.5 now. It's probably, I'm really pissed off, Sheets. This is what I get for not playing on the weekend on Saturday, because I played Thad Young in like 30% of each of my lineups. Just it's total speculation after he played no minutes. And then he goes and he plays 30 minutes and puts up 35 fantasy points. And it's just like, now I don't think you can count on that again, but I don't think anyone is expecting him to be, I don't think he's expected to be owned at all. Unless he like starts or something weird happens. But I think you kind of need to play one of Boucher, Young, or Precious. Precious being the most obvious one, followed by Boucher. But then you can get the low ownership on Thad Young. I think you want at least one of Siakam or Trent. And then, one of Barnes or Trent. And then I think you should consider Siakam strongly. And then OG on FanDuel. It's just the best. I think that's the game you target here. I know it's going to be fairly chalky, but we just named some ways you could get different with it. Another one that perception is going to overwhelm people is, I'm not saying this is like the most awesome fun play in the world, but why not play a little bit of Al Horford here? Like for his ownership to be like sub 3% or something on DraftKings and then really popular on FanDuel just makes no sense.
So for what it's worth, this is kind of a fun little tidbit. I guess I could say this one time. So Jason Tatum, I tracked like 4 different projection models.
Yeah.
55, 55, 55, and Saberson is 45.
So that's what they have for who?
Jason Tatum.
They haven't projected at 45 fantasy points?
Yeah.
Seems a little low.
They're really low on all of the Bostons.
It's interesting.
It isn't. I'm not saying right or wrong. I find it interesting when one is just that much different than the others.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
That
whole game they have low. They have Durant at 44.
Well, I mean, Durant, in all fairness, has deserved to be at 44.
Right.
He hasn't hit 40 yet in the game in any of the postseason games. Which, of course,
he's 40 compared to the other places at 46, 47. So I think.
No, I know. It's just weird. I mean, the projections are just a complete crapshoot. People don't know what to do with these guys. Yeah. I do want to point out, I answered a question from Kobe, a good question. Do I have any interest in Thibault? And my answer is no. The 2 games that he did play in, you really need things to break right, but it could always happen like with minutes before, but how does it happen now? So who's he getting minutes from? He's not taking any minutes from Maxey. He's not taking minutes from Tobias Harris. He's not taking minutes from James Harden. He's not taking minutes from Joel Embiid. He can take some minutes from Danny Green. That's it. But Danny Green is still going to play minutes. And in the 2 previous games that he played, Danny Green played a combined 60 minutes. That's averaging out to 30. So there's just not enough time for Maxey to play. Now, could look like an awesome play, quickly into the game if Danny Green and Tobias Harris get in foul trouble, and then you get Thibault out there for the whole time. But it's not like they even specifically need Thibault to guard a specific player as much in this matchup. Maybe if Van Vliet was healthy or something, but like he can't match up exactly with Scotty Barnes anyway. You don't really need him to shut down Gary Trent. Danny Green can do enough of it. I mean, I just don't know how he gets the minutes, but without foul trouble, which is possible. That could always happen, but I'm not going to play any Thibault. It's a very different team with the way they're currently constructed. Let's see.
Did you go back to Kleber at all?
Paul Reed. Is that a serious question? No, I have no interest in Kleber. I mean, it just throw up a thing in the air and see what could happen for it. Just you don't know really what's going to happen on a given night with Kleber. Paul Reed is definitely have no interest in Paul Reed here.
Dude, Paul Reed is totally winning the slate.
I don't know, because he put up 16 fantasy points in 8 minutes in one game. We're going to start playing him. It would be terrible. I mean, I don't care what what ends up happening. He'd be a terrible play. I feel very comfortable.
He's throwing it into the environment though.
But to the atmosphere, I know. So now maybe it becomes a good play. I don't know. I think it's a terrible play, just to be honest. And we don't want to just pick out, like, as much as I say Powell feels like reaching a little bit, like at least Powell has a role on this team. Like Paul Reed is just sort of like okay, we'll throw out Paul Reed for a few minutes. I still am surprised even getting run. I mean, I faded Paul Reed in a game where Embiid was out and none of these guys were on the team even. So
should we be playing less Embiid and more Harden?
I'm not playing Embiid. I told you that. I said I'm playing Harden. I'm with you on that. So that means yes. According to me, according to my what I talked to you about, yes. I don't have Embiid in any lineups on DraftKings. I do have Harden. I do have Embiid in my main lineup on FanDuel, but I also have Luka and Durant in that lineup too. Yeah, if we're going to be playing the minimum guys, let's play the guys who are going to play some minutes or speculate. Like, I think Goran Dragic is a really interesting guy to speculate on tonight, because we don't know that last game wasn't an aberration and he might not get some of that run back. Remember, Patty Mills got hot from 3-point range. They couldn't really pull them out of the game when they were down, which has cost Dragic some minutes. Could just as easily flip back the other way in this game. And Dragic, for what it's worth, was probably like their most effective offensive player, except for the first game from Kyrie. Seriously, like they've been really bad. This defense from Boston, it makes this total look off to me. Like, just to be honest, this is one of the better defensive teams I've ever seen in recent history, because teams don't really play defense like this anymore. All right, let's see what else we got.
I don't like the slate, man. I don't know.
I think Maxi's a really good tournament play, Nick. So yes. We already talked about Clarkson. Hey, we talked about Clarkson. You weren't paying attention. You thought we were talking about basketball.
Trent.
I was teasing with my buddy. Trent is like an automatic play for me tonight. Of course, he'll pick up 4 fouls again in the first 6 minutes, and I'll be dead. I think Clarkson's a really good tournament play as well. But I don't think you need to make all the good tournament plays. You just need to find the ones that make the most sense. Maxi makes sense. I think there's a really good call on the other one, on the Clarkson. But again, if you play Clarkson, there's no complaining if he scores 10 fantasy points. It's not, oh damn, Clarkson only got me 10 fantasy points.
That's right.
It's absolutely not okay. You should be expecting that to be in the range of outcomes, 100%, like a very possible range of outcomes, especially in a must-win game 5. Now, the flip side is they're struggling. They're down by 9 early. The offense looks out of sync. Conley can't guard anybody, and all of a sudden Clarkson comes in and starts lighting it up, and then they just keep Clarkson on the court. That could also happen. So 10 wouldn't surprise me from Clarkson, and 40 wouldn't surprise me from Clarkson. I thought, like, I'm looking at the projected ownership for KD. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it, man.
They're going to play him, right?
No, I don't think I can't see how people are going to play him. Like, what else do you need to watch? They had a must-win at home. He played 46 minutes and took 11 shots. Like, he was actually efficient too, and he just—I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Well, I mean, you certainly have to give Boston a little credit. No, I mean,
Yeah, but you're supposed to be the greatest offensive scorer. That's what everybody calls him, the greatest offensive weapon of all time. Great. Then if you're the greatest offensive weapon of all time, that
good
makes
job.
Giannis. What is Giannis the greatest? Like by 10 times the greatest ever? I mean, because Giannis ain't gonna have this trouble with these guys. I don't know. Kevin Durant is a beta who needed other people to get him his titles, and still tried to form a super.
That's a rough one.
He's awful, man. I'm sorry. I have no.
That's a rough take. The Durant beta take.
And everybody says, everybody's like, oh, but he's great because he won the MVP of the finals against LeBron and all. I'm like, yeah, but he had to join the greatest team of all time to do it. What happened the years before when he has 5 turnovers in the last minute and a half against Golden State in Game 5 that would have won the series? What happens when he misses 6 shots in a row and doesn't shoot anymore for the rest of the second half because he doesn't know what to do? He's not the guy. He could be the best player on a title team, but he can't be the leader of a title team. He's not a leader. Sorry. I have a lot of hatred for him because he left my boy alone in OKC when that team was going to win a title the next year, and he left him. All right. Looks like no more questions are drying up. Chat's sort of drying up. Any FanDuel related stuff? K9 was in here early, so we did answer a couple, but I don't know if we got to everything.
I want to talk a little more about this. So you mentioned Thad Young.
Yeah.
If you play him, can you play him with like one of those other bigs or not really?
Yeah, I think you can, but I think it would you'd want to do it. My natural instinct would be you'd want to do it with Precious rather than because Thad can sort of play the 3-4 combo. You know what I mean?
Okay.
They can move Barnes over to the point. He doesn't need to. He's not like a center traditionally. They just sort of made him that in the modern NBA, but he's not going to be against Embiid.
Right.
So I personally think that I would play him more likely with Precious than I would with Boucher.
Okay.
But you look at even the numbers from before when Thad wasn't playing, Boucher was getting he had his big 30-minute game and he put up 31 fantasy points. But Precious, the last game it was Boucher and him both had they had combined for 60. I think Precious feels a little safer to me, but I think you really could go either way. I don't think it's actually a must. One way or the other.
You look at Seth Curry at all?
Yeah, I did. So like the Curry versus Clarkson thing came up. I actually have him in my main lineup because I couldn't get the extra 300.
Well, who do you like? How about Curry versus Bullock?
For me, it's Curry. But I wouldn't get to that because I would probably take the shot on Clarkson at his ownership ahead of Bullock. Oh, I guess you're going small forward, huh?
I'm currently.
I'm playing Derek White in some tournaments just to tell you how weird I'm getting with it. And I can't recommend that anybody do it, but I'm going to do it. All it takes is 2 Marcus Smart fouls. And Derek White could put up like 35 tonight. 2 quick ones. I want him right away. Yeah, I think I'm going to take KD out of my main lineup. Ugh. I don't like it. I do like it, actually, to be honest, but I thought I was going to be liking it at like 5% ownership. I really thought that people would just ignore it. No, but it would make sense. Think about it, because you've got Luka, who's only 600 more. You've got Embiid, and then you've got the 9K guys that all have every one of them has outscored every game. Kevin Durant has been the lowest scorer of every game, but I guess people are still playing them. So I don't know if I have to double check on that one. I do have a feeling he has a big game tonight. For what it's worth, Dickerson sounds like a baseball thing. Yeah, I think Dickerson. I like that. I like that call very much. You get the perfect kind of guy. You get a lefty against Scherzer. Take the weird one off. I like it. Pingalore, not bad. Please refocus the hatred towards LeBron. I'll go back to LeBron. Okay, Kobe, I'll do it for you. I think the Nets, I actually don't like that. I mean, maybe they win the game. Watching these teams, to be honest with you, I think Boston has shot them like I think they've played poorly offensively in this series. I think this could have been like 3 wipeouts. They could have massacred them. What they've done in the fourth quarter, it's just crazy. They look like 2 different level teams, which is, again, not to pat myself in the back yet. I'll wait till they're eliminated. But I did say, why in the world are anybody of these teams afraid of Brooklyn? I understand that Kyrie and Kevin Durant sound like a lot. That is not a good basketball team. Let's see what else we got here. Nick, no more thoughts.
I don't know what I want. I still don't know what I want to do.
With basketball, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough. I just think you probably need like 3 Torontos for sure.
At least.
Yeah. But you can play Thad Young to be one of them. And there you go. You don't have to worry about ownership.
Yeah, my current thing is 3 of them, but not Trent. I was going to play Barnes, Thad, and Precious.
Interesting. To be honest, if it was me, I probably would be okay with eating the Trent chalk in that kind of a lineup. But I kind of like that that's a little different.
You like Bogdanovich at all?
He's going to be really popular, and I just don't see that he should be as popular as he's going to be personally. I don't think that's how I see him.
I mean, I can get all the way up to freaking Trent probably.
I wonder if you can get away with just playing all of 5 guys from Toronto.
I got 4 now with no
do it
with no Siakam.
4 with no Siakam. Yeah, that's what I had initially.
What I basically did was I replaced Bogdanovich with Trent. So you think Trent's a little bit better chalk than Bogdanovich, even though Trent's probably going to be. I think they'll both be owned, I guess.
Well, Trent can put up like 45 or 50. Bogdanovich would have to have like one of the great shooting performances.
But Bogdanovich can do that too.
No, get out of here.
He did in like the first half a week ago, didn't he?
Yeah. What do you think he ended with? He probably ended with less points.
Yes.
I had him once where he scored 39 points and he made 11 threes. And he had how many fantasy points he had that night? Because he had 5 turnovers. He had 37 fantasy points. He had 39 real life points.
Are we dumb not playing Donovan Mitchell?
No, it's definitely not dumb.
Okay.
I mean, Sheets, you called it out really well, right? When we were talking at the beginning of the playoffs, like it's a 2-way thing. You're going to get your best players are going to get featured more opportunities, but the other team knows that. So they're going to go hard trap. They're going to get the ball out of their hands. And, that's why it's so impressive with the guys who consistently just stay great, like Giannis and not these other guys who have these down games.
I'm just afraid to play Seth Curry in a game where Kyrie and Durant are going to shoot the ball 4,000 times.
I get it. But the problem is though that they don't, because they keep sending that they have a great defender on each of them, and then they send the double help, which usually leaves Bruce Brown open. That's why Bruce Brown keeps going nuts.
Dude, this is the pivot off of all that stuff. Not even the pivot. If you don't want to play, it's shooting guard. If you don't want to play, what's his name, Bullock or Seth Curry. What about the guy you mentioned before? How about Derek White?
That's what I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't feel like incredible about it, to be honest, but I think there's a path. That's all I need is a path. You're trying to win a tournament. You got to do something a little bit funny.
And then if we put Durant over here, and then we put this guy over here. Now I have 1,000 left on the table. I don't need that.
Yeah, probably not ideal.
Got Thad, and this one has Thad and Precious in it.
I've got one of those.
But if I got 1,000, I can add.
Do you know who no one's asked about and is probably a really good play is Tobias Harris?
I came up with him in one of my lineups, and I was like, and I just didn't do it.
Playing like 700 minutes a game, and he's averaging 41 fantasy points a game in this series. Seems like a pretty reasonable play. I don't know why no one's on it. Yeah, I got what I'm doing now. That's what I'm going to do. stacking the Toronto Philadelphia game. The problem is if I'm playing Thad over Maxey, do I need to reevaluate some decisions I've made in my life? Like, I'm saying Harris over Maxey. Harris, I expect to get there more regularly, but Maxey has so much higher of a ceiling. I guess I don't really need that though. You're just sort of you just sort of need one guy to beat the other, and on if you're doing what I'm doing, yeah. I'll have to make a decision on that one.
How popular do you think Embiid's going to be in like the bigger buy-ins?
Popular-ish. Good question though. 40, 30, somewhere in the 30s, probably maybe 40.
That's not that bad.
But why is he though? Like, why isn't Luka by far the most popular play? If you have this,
because it's Utah.
That's a joke, right? I know you were joking.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, meanwhile, you mentioned Embiid. He had the 50, 40. He's got that 78 lurking in the. Oh, that's the overtime, right?
He didn't have a 78.
He did have a 78 ball in there.
Where?
5 games ago?
That was not in the playoffs.
No.
I don't care what he did against the weakest front line in the NBA before the playoffs started. I'm just saying the way they're covering him and the fact that he's hurt right now, he hasn't done anything. His only 50 fantasy point game was the game that went into overtime where he hit the 3. You know how many? He had like 7 fantasy points at halftime. He did have a huge second half in that one, but. All right, it goes Harris and Matt.
You know, that would be like the real like screw projections. I've watched basketball enough to know what's going on type of play. Is it just X Embiid out and just see where you go with it?
Yeah, or I mean, you could do that. But what's cool is you could do that with Embiid, Durant, and Luka, and I think you could have a chance.
What do you mean?
You could. I think you could X out Embiid, Durant, and
all those guys,
and just play the 9K guys.
Then you get Mitchell.
Well, or Harden and Siakam. Why not that?
That's true.
Harden, Siakam with a game stack over there, a nice little stack. I don't know. I think that would work. Durant, and I do want a Durant Luka lineup though. That's the one thing I'm not going to budge on. I feel kind of stupid. No, sorry. I need to get. I don't need Luka in this. Okay, I'm going to play because I really, really want to play. The weird thing is Tatum should be the one projecting them. I mean, he's been the highest scoring player of all these guys in the postseason, and no one wants to play him.
You like Marcus Smart at all tonight?
I always think he's fine. His job is going to be made on defense again. We'll see. I really do like Harden though, which is weird for me to say in like a potential like closeout playoff game. It's like sort of goes against my brand here. What did Kobe say? Tobias. Nick, did you hear me say that before? I didn't see the question, but I just was talking about. I think Tobias is a really good play. I just put him in my big one. I love it, Joanne. I'm into Tatum too. Not crazy about the ownership, but I think he's a great play. All right. I think that we're pretty much there. I don't have a whole lot more to add. I'm just making sure. Take a quick last look at MLB and see if any wind changed directions or anything.
Yeah, right.
No. Still blowing out in Philly, still blowing out in LA.
You have a decent amount of Conley?
I did until I started looking at the projections liking him so much.
Oh, you think people are going to play a lot of him?
No. In all fairness, I have him in one of my 2 big ones on DraftKings, but not, my much smaller big one on DraftKings. Like my $100, not my $555.
Okay.
They'll just give it that away, I guess.
And you're not playing any Drummond, are you?
No. I would play some Claxton, though. I actually want to see. I can't believe they actually are just rolling the same starting lineup out there again. I honestly can't.
Who?
The Nets.
Oh,
I would have done something. I mean, you're getting handled. You're down 3-0. Like this is the time you make weird moves.
so you think this is a Royce O'Neal type of day?
Do I think this is a Royce O'Neal? Yes. You'd think in a game, if the games are close, Royce O'Neal tends to put up his 25 fantasy points and play like 35 minutes. If they're down a bunch and Clarkson brings them back, then he could lose some minutes to Clarkson sometimes. By the way, Corbin Burns is kind of rolling here.
What a surprise.
Got 4 of the first 6.
When you see that 8.25 after the first inning?
I didn't see that. I
didn't. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's always the best feeling. But then, it's weird, Sheets. My mindset almost turns into like, hold on, hang on to it. And I'm like, what am I talking about? Like, he's got to keep pitching and get me more points.
Right.
8.25. Tobias sneaky. So Nick, you're asking it again. I just said I like Tobias. So you want to know, I guess, you're asking me more ownership-wise. I think Tobias Harris ends up right in the 10 to 12% range, maybe a little less. And I think both he and Maxey are really good low-owned plays. Remember, Maxey plays really well at home, for what it's worth. And I went ahead and did it. I played. I can't believe I did it. I can't believe I'm like locking Harden in basically on DraftKings. Like, what happened to me? Who am I? All right.
Locking in the Harden on DraftKings.
Kyrie or Harden on FanDuel? Kyrie. Just because I said Harden so many times already.
Yeah.
I'm not even 100% that that's the right answer, but
Clarkson. Shea. Grant Williams.
yeah, I'm playing him. The minutes feel pretty secure at this point. And for what it's worth, on my FanDuel big lineup, I am doing exactly what I talked about on my earlier stuff and what we talked about. I'm going to play Will Smith, Freddie Freeman, and Muncy all in the same lineup.
Okay.
Because the position crossover and the fact that Will Smith will be very low owned. So that's just, thought I'd throw that out there.
Shooting guard. I really don't want to play Conley and Clarkson together.
You don't want to play Conley and Clarkson. I ended up with a 4-2-2 on DraftKings instead of my 5-man, which is going to piss me off. I just feel it already. Ramirez.
All right, KD, you win. I'll play you. Fine.
Let's see. You did end up with him.
Yeah. It's because I'm stupid, I guess. Well, you know what? If I want to play Embiid, I mean, I got to get points out of somebody, right?
Yeah.
I can't do this Harden thing. I don't know why I can't do it.
bring yourself to do it, huh?
I don't know. I got 15 minutes to figure it out, though.
The weird part is Harden's actually been more productive, just straight up, for what it's worth.
Has he gotten 60?
Does he have to? He's 9,200. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't need to get to 60. I'm just going over my FanDuel ones. I really like my FanDuel build. Unfortunately, Danny Green's in.
What the hell? Burns gave up a hit? Guy sucks. 4 Ks through 2. Oh, goodness.
Tatum Brown.
Who's got these points? Nobody. No runs. Got to figure out this Boston thing early, right? Because it's the first game.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out right now.
Yeah.
I don't really like what I'm doing with my shooting guard spot. Let me see. Actually, doesn't really matter. It's just FanDuel point per dollar. I do think that Thibault thing is like just kind of interesting from that Kobe brought up before, but I just can't bring myself to quite do it. Do you guys want to know what? So I did end up playing a 4-2-2, and I decided to, instead of going my other way, I decided to go with the Harper and Rio Muto from Philly.
My new idea is playing Claxton in the big buy-in.
Claxton. Yeah, I like that idea. We're talking about the Boston issue for basketball, Rody. Oh, you are talking about basketball. Yeah, Rody, we're on the same page basically with that.
What is he saying? I don't have it up.
All right, good luck, WW Fresh. Now he's saying that he likes the 3 Torontos and Harden and Harris. Okay.
Any chance Jaylen Brown could be sneaky?
I think he's going to be a little more overlooked than people are projecting him. I like him as a play. I can't believe I'm playing Reggie Bullock and Danny Green in the same lineup.
You're playing Danny Green
on FanDuel. I mean, he's gonna. It's not like I don't think I'm getting off the board. He's gonna be like 40% owned.
I'm
running into.
That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to play Danny Green at 40% owned.
Well, he's gonna be like 30. I mean, it doesn't matter if you get the rest of your stack right. The thing that's tricky about it is, it's just the minutes are there. You know, it's the same. I mean, if you're playing Reggie Bullock, then you shouldn't have any problem or throw any shade at Danny Green. Like, it's the same guy. Actually, Reggie Bullock is probably even lower usage than Danny Green is. He just doesn't. He just plays more minutes. Doesn't feel great though. I mean, I'll be the first to admit that it does. Maybe what I can do is find a way to play Dwight Powell and slide everyone down a notch here.
All right. Well, we're back to someone else. One of us is going to win because now I'm back to not playing Durant. So we'll see. I promise you this: that however my lineups start, it's probably not going to end up that way. I'm probably going to be doing some funny business throughout the night.
Yeah, I'm very happy to announce that I did just get off the Danny Green.
There you go.
That makes me feel a little better. It's weird though. You have to do some weird shuffling. And it's all the multi-position players on FanDuel makes it really interesting. Like,
So someone's got 25.90. So someone hit a home run. Yep, Connor Joe. There it is.
oh, right away off of my Kyle Gibson.
Right off the bat. There it is.
Right off the bat. What's up with these guys? These guys from Colorado. I hope they don't do it what they did last year when they couldn't hit it in Colorado, but they kept hitting on the road.
The Kyle Gibson chalk is off to a start.
Rody, don't take Sheets too seriously. I don't think he's really that concerned about the Boston issue. He was just trying to figure out who to play, right? Sheets.
What?
He keeps asking about the Boston issue, but you were just talking about who to play from Boston, right?
There's an issue. What Boston issue?
You said it's back to the Boston issue, and I think that
I just don't know who I'm playing from there. That's all. Oh, I thought there was like some issue. No.
Yeah.
Just 3-game slate, just scrambling with my brain. That's all.
Yeah.
Milwaukee scored a run, but nothing major. Just a single and a run via RBI. Kelston Hura is back in the major leagues.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
I played him a little bit today.
We had such high hopes for him.
Well, he gave us plenty of reason to, and then I don't know what.
Of course,
he's one of the few guys, and he wasn't as high of a prospect, but he was a big enough one, and he certainly hasn't lived up to it.
Not that Burns needed it, but the extra there's one run from Milwaukee gets that 4 points closer.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm very curious to watch this Brooklyn game, I have to say.
What is this? Ja Morant disrespected entire Wolves team for craziest block for shit talks. I don't know what this means. I don't think Ja Morant.
Brody's the most results-oriented person by far, for sure.
By a ton.
I've never met anybody as results-oriented. It's not the mistake that you didn't play Connor Joe because they were trying to get him at 42. That's just not how you should ever do that. Ever. If somebody hits 2 home runs and you almost played him but played another guy instead, it doesn't even make him a better player.
My favorite thing about Rody is oh my God, that would have won if you only put it in the 5,000.
I know, and I'm like, come on, man, it's bad enough.
This is my 87th lineup out of 150 in the relay throw. Oh, why didn't you play that in the 1500?
Yeah. At least Rody's a great guy, and obviously has a good sense of humor.
He's the best.
We need to go back and forth with this a lot. Oh,
now Connor Joe of all people right out of the gate with the leadoff spot. Boom.
I might have to win on FanDuel. Kyle Gibson is just the strangest pitcher, man.
Well, who did I play on FanDuel?
He's definitely won me a lot of money in the long run, but there's been so many times where I'm like, what am I doing playing him? I don't know.
Connor Joe is the highest scoring player on FanDuel by 0.7 points over Corbin Burns.
This is Merrill Kelly thing.
Merrill Kelly, let's go.
I'm looking at Twitter right now, and people are just popping up. Merrill Kelly. I'm just like, oh my God. Thank you to all of the other touts who make these. I don't care what actually happens tonight. You're not going to convince me of that.
I care what happens.
I mean, I don't care. I'm not. Sheets, you're the. I didn't say you. I wouldn't say you taught me because I knew it before I met you.
Yeah.
You cannot be results oriented.
Nope.
No, Brody, we're not killing you. We're just messing with you, man, because it's always the same story. It's always the right afterwards. Oh, but this guy did it, so I made a mistake on this. And I'm like, you didn't make a mistake. Just because somebody has a better thing doesn't mean you make a mistake.
Kyle Gibson was 23% owned in the relay throw. That's about right.
Yeah, that's what he was in the 777 too.
Hey, but he's got 2 outs. And he could still win the slate, by the way.
Oh no, of course he could. It's 1 run. It's totally fine. I don't even regret regardless of whatever happens, it's not going to make me too stressed out. Because I mean, he throws pitches. He threw 90 of them against this team the other time in Colorado. He just didn't get the strikeouts there. He does have strikeout upside, believe it or not, even though people say that he doesn't. He struck out 10 guys in the game this year. Not many guys have done that so far. But obviously at the moment, I was wishing I didn't play him.
But Saberson loves to do this. They make these stacks so pretty. They gave me a 2-man with the Dodgers, Lux and Betts, because they're 9-1.
I don't think there's actually, if there was two guys to do that with, it would be like the Dodgers or like Houston when they play like Pena in the 9-hole and Uve was healthy or something.
Lux has been, let me tell you something. I've played him a bunch of times, and he's been putting some balls to the freaking wall. Maybe, did we get the window, the roof open in Arizona? We wanted there?
No, I was pretty sure they wouldn't, and it's not.
Okay.
Brody says I have Gibson in the 777. Yeah, I do. Great. Thanks, bud. Rub it in. What is that supposed to mean? I know I do. I said I was going to do it. I did it. I'm wishing I did it at the moment, but hey, plenty of time left. Plenty of time.
You have Gibson in the 777?
Yeah.
Well, you lost. On to the next one. No way he could come back.
I couldn't tell it was a question because there was no. I couldn't tell it was a question. It was just. I thought it was just you were just saying it to me. Yeah, I have Gibson, and big shocker. I threw Barrios as my other one. Yes, I do have Gibson.
That's awesome. I think that's great.
Brody, who'd you start in the 777? I'm gonna guess he went Scherzer and Burns. That'd be my guess. That's what I would have done.
I thought he said he had Gibson.
Yeah. No. I have Gibson.
Oh.
Rody, did you play Burns and Scherzer?
I did.
That's what I was gonna do.
Yeah.
But I just felt like I wanted to build a different lineup. And I wanted to play Bryce Harper and a lefty at 6% ownership. That's the only way to get different with the Phillies thing.
I'm not being this is for no
Burns.
I have no problem being different with this 777 for now. If I'm live to this if I'm live going into this Arizona game, I'm definitely gonna have to think about doing something with this Christian Walker play. I got to think about this. I keep forgetting. I got to figure this out earlier than the late game.
Yeah.
Like right now, if I could change him, someone coming up, if I felt like it. There's no extra money. It's really just him or I could wait on that. Oh, dude, I'm definitely going to play Josh Naylor instead of him.
Josh Naylor instead of who?
Christian Walker, I think. They'll save me $500. I'd like to do something else. Oh, then I can really screw it up. Oh, I'm into this. I can really mess this one up. So if I did that. We'll see. Oh, that looks so pretty. I might just do that. Okay, I guess we watch some basketball. My wife's out for a birthday dinner, so I get to
nice.
Chill and watch some sports.
Nice.
And yeah, good luck, everybody.
Yeah, good luck tonight, everybody. I hope you guys crush it. I'll be in Discord the whole time, and let's go. I like Naylor as well, Brody, so hopefully we can get that one together. Good luck to everyone. Thanks to Rody for being a good sport sheet. Thanks so much. Yep. And we'll be in Discord. Don't forget to
Wait, Bobby, I forgot to tell you. Just I forget. The thing I said I can make tomorrow night, I can't. I'm actually out tomorrow.
Okay,
night.
Thanks for telling me.
The day I'm good, though.
Okay, sounds good, bud.
All right, later.